Down Stay Part 1, Food Dangles, Food on the Ground, and the Walk Around Behavior. For this activity, you'll need lots of your great treats already broken into small pieces. You'll need a quiet area to train, and you'll also need a mat. Your mat doesn't have to be anything fancy. It could just be like a bath mat or a towel, anything like that that you can pick up and put away after the activity. We're going to continue using push-drop stick rules with this activity. As a quick review, that means training each step in a set of 5 and then evaluating performance. If the dog gets 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5, we push to the next step. If the dog gets 2 or less correct, we drop back a step. And if the dog gets 3 correct, we stick on that step and repeat it for another 5 set. If you need a refresher, check out the push-drop stick video. We're going to tackle steps 1 through 5 first. One quick tip. You'll want to train this behavior on a mat. Through no extra effort, if you train this on a mat, you'll also create a beautiful mat targeting behavior. What that will look like is you'll lay down the mat and your dog will auto-target into a down position when they see it. This is really great for if you've ever got plans to take your dogs to Starbucks or the breweries down the road, kids' soccer games, any of those places. It makes your down stay targeting behavior really versatile. All you need to do is lay down the mat at the beginning of the session and pick it up and put it away at the end of the session. This isn't mandatory, it's just a really good idea. Your training plan is located in your week 4 packet, but if that's not handy, steps 1 through 5 are as follows. Step 1. Position the dog in the down and feed several treats for holding the down position. She's going to be feeding really liberally, and this is intentional. Our job is to convince the dog that all they've got to do is just lay there and eat, and so we make it stupidly easy for them to be successful. Feed, 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 feed. Once they're holding that down, move on to step 2. Step 2, food dangles for 1 second. This is when we start to use the push-drop stick rules, so you'll repeat this step 5 times total. Notice how far she's dangling that treat away from the dog. We want this to be a temptation. We don't want them to think, hey, she's handing me a treat, so that distance between the dog's mouth and the treat is important. Step 3, food dangles for 3 seconds. You'll again repeat this 5 times total and reassess. Watch how fast she's training. Try and incorporate speed into your training as well.
Yes, 2 for 2.
She's got all of her treats ready to go. She's not spending time dilly-dallying, rooting around in her bait bag.
4 for 4. Yes, 5 for 5.
Step 4, food on the ground for 1 second. Since we're moving to a new location, we make it easier on the duration front initially. You'll repeat this step 5 times total. Again, placing that treat at a distance, training fast, and she's got her treats ready so she's not dilly-dallying between reps.
Yes, 3 for 3. Yes, 4 for 4. Yes, 5 for 5.
Step 5, food on the ground for 3 seconds.
Yes, 1 for 1. Yes, 2 for 2. Yes, 3 for 3. Yes, 4 for 4. Yes, 5 for 5.
Moving on to steps 6 through 13, the walk-arounds. If you're like us and sat on the ground to train the last steps, because let's face it, it's easier on your back, your first step is going to be getting upright. You'll stand up and then feed. Stand up and then feed. You'll do that 5 times total. Now, if you were already standing in the previous steps, you can skip this one.
Yes, 1 for 1. Yes, 2 for 2. Yes, 3 for 3. Yes, 4 for 4. Yes, 5 for 5.
Going forward, there will be no food on the ground. And we're going to start with 1 step to the right, repeat that for a 5 set, 2 steps to the right, repeat that for a 5 set, 3 steps to the right, and then circle around to the right. Then we would work the other direction. 1 step to the left for a 5 set, 2 steps to the left for a 5 set, 3 steps to the left for a 5 set, and then circle around the dog to the left. The final step is around and back. So you're circling the dog twice, circling left first, and then right, and then feed. Now, Val's not going to do every single step for a 5 set just because it would be the longest demo ever. That said, you guys do want to do a 5 set for each of these steps. I also want you guys to pay attention to how fast she's moving when she's doing this. She is out and back as quickly as possible. She's not dilly-dallying at all, and all that stuff is intentional. Let's go ahead and watch the demo.
Yes, 1 for 1. Yes, 2 for 2. Yes, 3 for 3. Yes, 4 for 4. Yes, 5 for 5. Yes, 1 for 1. Yes, 2 for 2. Yes, 3 for 3. Yes, 4 for 4. Yes, 5 for 5. Yes, 1 for 1. Yes, 2 for 2. Yes. 1 for 1. Yes. 2 for 2.
Now to the left.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Final step is around and back for a 5 set. Take breaks if you need to. Sometimes this can be a bit dizzying.
Yes.
All right, so what if you're struggling with some of this? Well, split steps are always going to come to the rescue. Remember that split steps are steps that we add into the program when our dogs get stuck at any point. Quite often when we're working the walk around, we need split steps. We're going to demo some of those now. The most common place that we tend to need these are when we go from upright to taking one step to the right. Oftentimes, as soon as we start to move our feet, our dogs start to go with us. So an easy split step for this is just stepping up 1 foot at a time, or maybe just doing like a half step to the right in return. Say you got stuck between 2 steps and 3 steps, your split step would be 2.5 steps. Splits will always come to the rescue. Now, a lot of people when they're first starting out are not going to go as seamless as Rhubarb, but Rhubarb did go through the exact same plan as your dogs are going through now. She just has a little bit more experience. If you'd like to see this demoed on a green dog, I'll put a video right after the outro. All right, so let's recap. Food position is important. You want to train fast. You train in sets of 5. You repeat in new locations throughout the week. If you stick to this plan, you cannot fail. I promise. Give it a shot, and I'll see you on the next video. Good boy. Yes. 1 for 1. Yes. 2 for 2. Yes. 3 for 3. Oops. That whoops that you hear, that's my no reward marker from last week. When the dog gets it wrong, I will always mark with that behavior and then withhold the treat. Yes. So this is 3 seconds. Whoops. Yes. So 1 for 2. Yes. 2 for 3. Oops. 2 for 4. Yes. So that's 3 for 5. So we're going to stick at the 3 seconds. Okay. Oops. 0 for 1. Yes. 1 for 2. Yes. 2 for 3. Yes. 3 for 4. Yes. 4 for 5. So the next one is 1 second on the ground. Yes. Yes. 2 for 2. Whoops. When he breaks the stay, I don't feed him for repositioning. That's really critical. The reason for that is that if I always feed him for getting back into the down, he starts figuring out that the fastest way to get paid is to actually pop out of position to get fed again. So you withhold the treat until the dog has completed the full step. So we're going to stick. Yes. 1 for 1. Yes. 2 for 2. Oops. There you go. 3 for 3. Yes. 4 for 4. Yes. 5 for 5. So now it's 3 seconds on the ground. Yes. Yes. 2 for 2. Yes. 3 for 3. Yes. 4 for 4. Yes.